This is how every Minecraft optimization mod works. Well, at least most of them. For the first mod, it's Sodium. Sodium is a rendering optimization mod for Minecraft, and its goal is simple. Make the game draw the world more efficiently without changing how Minecraft feels. It doesn't touch gameplay systems like mob AI or world generation. Instead, it focuses entirely on rendering, deciding what actually needs to be shown on the screen. But that also means it often does more than it needs to. Sodium rewrites large parts of the system to be smarter and more efficient. One of Sodium's biggest performance gains comes from how it handles chunk rendering. In vanilla Minecraft, chunks are frequently rebuilt and reprocessed, even when only small parts of them change, which leads to lower FPS. It's almost like rebuilding an entire Lego structure because you swapped one piece. Vanilla does that, and Sodium just simply replaces the piece, instead of rebuilding the entire structure together. This dramatically improves performance, especially when loading or moving through terrain. Sodium also improves how work is split between your CPU and GPU. Vanilla Minecraft relies heavily on the CPU to micromanage rendering every frame, which creates bottlenecks even on powerful systems. Sodium reduces this overhead by preparing rendering data more efficiently and letting the GPU do what it's best at, which is drawing lots of geometry in parallel. This not only increases average FPS, but also greatly improves frame consistency, making the game feel much smoother overall. Another improvement is the reduction of draw calls. The instructions sent from the CPU to the GPU telling it what to draw. Too many draw calls hurts performance, and vanilla Minecraft makes a lot of them. Sodium batches geometry together and minimizes unnecessary state changes, reducing CPU and GPU communication and allowing the renderer to scale better with higher render distances. Sodium works across mod loaders like Fabric, Quilt, and NeoForge. It does require a modern GPU and OpenGL 4.5 support, but for most PCs, it will just work. But now we move on to Optifine. Optifine is probably one of the most well-known mods ever, and for a while, it was the mod for performance. Optifine improves FPS and gives players an enormous amount of control of how the game looks and runs. Optifine was made back when Minecraft's video settings were extremely limited, so having it was almost essential for a good modding experience. What made Optifine so powerful was how much control it gave the player. Nearly every visual detail could be tuned or disabled. The reason Optifine isn't the best option anymore is also because it tries to do everything. It's a massive all-in-one mod that heavily modifies Minecraft's internals, which makes it harder to maintain and less compatible with modern mod loaders. Its performance improvements are largely based on older rendering techniques and aggressive setting toggles rather than deep engine level optimizations. Compared to modern mods like Sodium, Optifine is just lackluster. It still works and it's fine, but if you play modern Minecraft, there are just better options. Next is Ferritecore. Ferritecore is very different from mods like Sodium because it doesn't focus on FPS directly. It focuses on memory efficiency. And with how much RAM is costing nowadays, we're gonna need it. Its goal is to drastically reduce how much RAM Minecraft uses by eliminating massive amounts of duplicated data. A good way to think about Ferritecore is that it's a professional organizer. It doesn't change what the game does. It just stops the game from storing the same themes thousands or even millions of times. The result isn't usually a huge FPS jump, but it's far fewer lag spikes and much better stability in large mod packs. One of Ferritecore's biggest wins comes from how it handles block states and their properties. In vanilla Minecraft, every block state stores large maps of properties and neighbor states, which quickly balloons into hundreds of megabytes of memory usage in modded environments. Ferritecore replaces these heavy data structures with compact, array-based systems that store the same information in a much more efficient way. Another major area Ferritecore optimizes is model data on the client side. Ferritecore also optimizes less obvious but equally important areas such as chunk loading and block state caches. When chunks are partially loaded, vanilla Minecraft keeps far more NBT data than it actually needs, wasting tens of megabytes around active players. Ferritecore trims this down to only the necessary data until the chunk is fully loaded, which all in all, if you have this mod installed, it can save well over a gigabyte of RAM in large mod packs. Lithium is a general purpose optimization mod that focuses on how Minecraft thinks. While mods like Sodium optimize rendering, Lithium works deep inside the game's logic systems. Things like mob AI, block updates, physics calculations, and ticking behavior. Minecraft runs all of this logic on an internal server, even in single player, and that server is often the real performance bottleneck. A major reason Lithium is so effective is that it targets systems that scale poorly as worlds grow. Lithium reduces redundant calculations and avoids unnecessary chunks when the outcome is already known. It doesn't cut corners. It's about not asking the same questions thousands of times per tick, and servers can install it without requiring players to have it installed at all, which for both multiplayer and single player, it frees up CPU resources, which can obviously improve FPS, which is all we care about. Immediately Fast is a client-side rendering optimization mod that targets a very specific weakness in Minecraft. Immediate mode is used for things that are updated constantly, so things like entities, block entities, particles, text, and most GUI elements. In vanilla Minecraft, these systems often send lots of small, repetitive draw calls to the GPU every frame, which puts heavy pressure on the CPU. Immediately Fast replaces this inefficient behavior with a custom buffering system that batches draw calls together and uploads rendering data to the GPU in a much more efficient way. The end result is the same visuals, but with far less CPU overhead. Instead of rewriting the entire renderer, it targets specific high-cost areas. For example, map rendering and text rendering are re-implemented in a more efficient way so that hundreds of maps or signs don't tank performance. This is why the mod can deliver massive gains in extreme scenarios, such as busy servers with tons of entities or text-heavy areas, where FPS improvements of 2 to 5 times or even more are possible. Since it only helps when the CPU is limiting performance, slower or older CPUs benefit the most, while faster CPUs may see smaller gains. Modern Fix plays a very similar role to Ferrite Core, but on a much broader scale. If Ferrite Core is about stopping Minecraft from storing the same data thousands of times, Modern Fix is about stopping the game from doing unnecessary work before it even reaches the main menu. Both mods focus heavily on memory efficiency and long-term stability rather than raw FPS. A major strength of Modern Fix is how aggressively it cuts memory waste. It trims unnecessary data and fixes systems that quietly eat RAM in the background. In that sense, it shares some DNA with Ferrite Core. Both mods focus on reducing duplication and wasted resources rather than boosting FPS directly. But while Ferrite Core mainly targets memory usage during gameplay, Modern Fix also focuses heavily on startup performance. It even includes optional diagnostic tools that help track down freezes and threading issues, which is a lifesaver in large mod packs. Modern Minecraft isn't always the smartest, because by default, the game will render mobs and block entities even if they're completely hidden behind walls. Entity culling fixes that by asking if the player can see this. If the answer is no, the game will skip rendering it. To pull this off, the mod uses asynchronous path tracing to constantly check what's in your line of sight. It spreads these visibility checks across multiple CPU cores. Anything fully blocked by terrain or structures, which is ignored until it becomes visible again. This mod makes Minecraft only render what matters. Navidium is a replacement rendering backend for Sodium that takes advantage of NVIDIA OpenGL extensions, specifically mesh shaders, instead of relying heavily on the CPU to tell the GPU what to render. Navidium shifts a huge part of that workload directly onto the GPU. The catch is compatibility. Navidium only works on NVIDIA GPUs that support mesh shaders, so GTX 16 series or newer. It also requires Sodium to function. It will automatically turn itself off if you're using Iris shaders. A cool thing about Navidium is how it lets you push your render distance way beyond what vanilla Minecraft normally allows, so you can find your way home if you ever get lost. Dynamic FPS is a small quality of life mod that helps Minecraft use fewer resources when you're not actively playing. Instead of letting Minecraft run at full power all the time, it slows things down when you're not actively playing, like when you tab out or just stand idle for a bit, and adjust frame rate volume and even notifications based on that state. This is especially clutch on laptops, where it can kick in harder when you're on battery, which saves you power without you thinking about it, and stops rendering the world when it's covered by menus or loading screens. Krypton is a fabric mod that optimizes Minecraft's networking layer, the system that handles how data moves between the server and players, and it builds on ideas proven by large-scale server projects like Velocity and Twinity. Velocity is a high-performance Minecraft proxy used by big networks to efficiently route players between servers, while Twinity is a heavily optimized server fork focused on squeezing out better performance and stability under heavy load. Krypton borrows techniques from both, especially through its use of optimized Netty handlers. Netty is the networking framework Minecraft uses to send and receive packets, and handlers are essentially the workers that process those packets as they flow in and out. By rewriting these handlers to be faster and more efficient, it also consolidates network flushes so the server isn't constantly stopping to send tiny bits of data, which improves Minecraft's multiplayer performance. Memory Leak Fix is exactly what it sounds like. A mod that fixes spots in Minecraft where memory slowly builds up and never gets released. Memory leaks happen when the game keeps data around after it's done using it. And while a single leak isn't a big deal, they add up during long play sessions or on modded servers, leading to higher RAM usage and sometimes crashes. This mod patches a wide range of those issues on both the client and server, but it does have a clear endpoint. Starting with Minecraft 1.20.5, all of these leaks have been fixed in vanilla, making the mod unnecessary for newer versions, while remaining extremely useful on older ones. Embedium is a free open source performance mod that builds on the last open source version of Sodium, adding extra fixes and features to improve mod compatibility. It keeps all the core optimizations from Sodium, like a rewritten terrain renderer that makes the world load and display faster, and improvements to the immediate mode rendering pipeline, which handles drawing everything on screen entities. It also provides extra APIs for other mods to hook into its performance improvements, making it more compatible with heavily modded setups. Concurrent Chunk Management Engine, usually just called C2ME, is a mod built to dramatically improve how Minecraft handles chunks. By default, Minecraft does most chunk tasks like generation on a single thread, meaning only one CPU core does the work. This works, but it's slow and doesn't take advantage of modern multi-core processors. C2ME changes that by splitting chunk tasks across multiple CPU threads, so the game can generate and load terrain and process chunk priorities much faster and more smoothly than vanilla Minecraft ever could. The concurrent in its name isn't just branding. C2ME restructures Minecraft's chunk systems to be better threaded and scalable. Instead of waiting for the main server or client thread to finish generating, C2ME uses worker threads in the background to do these jobs in parallel. For the best results, C2ME is often paired with Lithium to take full advantage of multi-core CPUs. Packet Fixer helps prevent a bunch of annoying errors caused by packets, or MBT data being too large. In Minecraft, packets are like envelopes of information that travel between the server and your client, telling the game what's happening, like where mobs are, which blocks change, or which items you picked up. NBT data, short for named binary tag, is the way Minecraft stores more complex information about things in the world, like block states, entity data, item details, or custom mod content. When you have lots of mods, these packets can exceed Minecraft's default size limits, which causes crashes, making sure big MBTs and other oversized packets don't break the connection. It's especially useful for mod packs with lots of mods or custom content that would otherwise trigger errors like packet too large. Okay, for the final mod, we have Vulkan. I've covered this one in some of my other videos, so if you want an even deeper dive, check those out. But here's an overview. Vulkan mod completely replaces Minecraft's traditional OpenGL rendering engine with a Vulkan-based graphics backend, which is a modern, low-level graphics API designed to give developers more control over the GPU. Unlike OpenGL, which handles a lot of work behind the scenes, Vulkan allows the game to directly manage how data is sent to the graphics card. This means better, more efficient use of modern hardware, making Minecraft run faster. Vulkan supports advanced rendering techniques and features that simply aren't possible in OpenGL. The FPS gains are insane and are often a lot better than Sodium. Now that's all the mods. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like and subscribe, because this video took forever to make, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.